SHOT Show 2015, Tuesday at the Sands Convention Center in Las Vegas. The SHOT Show features more than 1,600 exhibitors, covering over 630,000 square feet of booth space. More than 65,000 industry professionals attend each year from all 50 states and 100 countries. The show is not open to the public, but our job as media is to cover the event and bring information from the exhibitors out to the shooting sports public. There's been a lot of rumors about Diana recently, so our first stop was at the German pavilion to get the facts from Diana Managing Director Martin Zedler, who's been in that position for 8 years and has been retained by the new ownership.
Well, here we are, Northwest Air Guns. We're with Martin Zedler, who is new management at Diana Air Guns in Germany, and he's going to take a minute and we're going to talk about what's happened at Diana. So what has happened at Diana recently since last year?
So first of all, I would like to say that I'm managing director since 8 years, or for 8 years for Diana. So I'm still in the company, and as a matter of fact, Diana has been sold to the company GSG, which is just beside of our booth. But GSG also belongs to a big group, to Blaser, Sauer, Mauser. So it's a big group of very experienced manufacturers. And I think this will give us the opportunity to be better in future, to have more possibilities for investment in new technologies, and first of all also to improve our manufacturing, the production, to be more efficient and to reduce costs.
Okay, well, in the future, what do you expect changes at Diana? You're still going to make the flagship guns that you've produced in the past?
Yes.
Continue with that?
Okay, so the buyout from Diana is not a long time ago, but the discussions now, they do not want to make any change on the existing products. Maybe some improvements, quality should not go down. The very important thing for Diana is the made in Germany. This should also remain, and I think with the new ownership we will have good possibilities to get that.
Good, and we have the 340 N-Tech.
Yes.
And we haven't seen it here in the United States yet. You expect that to come in soon?
Yeah, usually it's I think always 1 year later. We introduced it last year at the SHOT Show first time, and also at the IVA, but production started as a matter of fact in autumn last year, in 2014. And I think in 2015 the N-Tech rifles will also come to the United States.
Are they selling in Europe right now?
Yes.
And I see the 350 is going to come out with an N-Tech. Is it introduction this year?
No, yes, this is the introduction this year. This is just a prototype we have here on our booth. But I think also the first delivery inside Germany and Europe will start, let me say, in the second quarter of 2015, and in 2016 also here in the United States. Probably in autumn, but not earlier.
Okay, and that would, I believe the importer is Umarex, is that correct? So it'd be up to them to import those in.
Yes, but they have also a running catalog and everything, and so they need some time to bring new models in, and that's why it's not immediately available in the United States, but I'm sure it will come.
Okay, well, very good. I can tell you there's been a lot of chatter out there about Diana and the changes that are happening, and it's good to know that the company will continue making the products that we've been using all these years.
Yeah, honestly, I'm Diana company since 8 years, as I told you, and I think this is the best what could happen to Diana, and also to keep the brand alive.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Then off to the UK Pavilion, where of all places we find Airguns of Arizona. They share a booth here with Daystate. We spoke with Tony Bilas about their new bullpup, the Pulsar.
Hello, here we are. We have Tony Bilas with us from Daystate, and we're going to run through a pretty incredible new product, the Daystate Pulsar. Tony, can you give us an overview on this new gun?
Thanks very much. Yes, Jonathan. So this is brand new for the SHOT Show 2015. We've been working on this for over a year. It's completely new. We've obviously used a bullpup format, and that allows us to bring everything back. But it's not done just to be a bullpup. It's done to be a new rifle, a new electronic rifle from Daystate. The rifle itself is the side lever, no cocking effort whatsoever because it's electronic. It has an electronic trigger in it, which is really what you need for this kind of format. No linkages, it's all electronic. We have lots of safety systems put into the gun. We feel that Daystates are amongst the safest air rifles there's ever been, and we've increased that on the Pulsar. We have a magazine deactivator, safety catch, and a conventional crossbar safety. We have a bolt open safety, which the gun won't fire with a bolt open. We have anti-double loading systems into the magazine, so you can't double load it. But everything in there is designed to be as safe as we can possibly make it. The rifle is quite revolutionary. It has a built-in laser into the fore end of the gun.
Right.
You probably can't see that on camera, but there's a laser. I'm not going to point it at it, but you've got a laser built into the gun.
There we go.
And that goes off with the safety catch once you use it. You can deactivate that if you don't want to.
Right.
It's also massively good on light, because you can see that the gun is hot just by having the laser on. The side lever is actually ambidextrous, and you can remove it in about 2 minutes. It's user removable, and you turn it round to the other side and reverse it. Stock, of course, is fully ambidextrous as well. So you've got a gun which is left and right hand.
Let's talk about the power system. How is all of this operated?
Good question. We have 3 power settings in the gun, low, medium and high, and you can set that yourself. The gun is digitally regulated. It has a pressure system regulation in it, something we developed for the Mark IV and the Airwolf some years ago, and we've refined it for this new gun. So you can map, it has 3 maps in there, and you can decide which power setting you want to set it onto, and you do that using the side lever and the trigger switch.
See, and so basically it's metering out air, or metering out the air, or it's the hammer that's different?
That's right. What it's doing is it's monitoring the air pressure in the cylinder, and it knows from when the engineer set it up how hard to hit the valve at a given pressure. Obviously, if the pressure goes up because it's got hot, I know you're from California or somewhere like that, so it gets warm there, doesn't it, from time to time? So as it gets warmer, it tends to go, it gets hotter, so the pressure changes, and the map recognizes that and corrects it. What the Pulsar does over the Mark IV is the Mark IV only took a sensor reading every time you fired the rifle. As soon as you switch this one on, the gun is live and taking constant pressure settings. So it's actually doing it on the fly. So as the temperature changes, even with the gun in the fire mode, it's correcting. And it has 3 different maps in there. And each one of those maps relates to a power. So you have a low power, medium power, and a high power. And we haven't set what those are going to be yet. We'll take that from our importer, who'll tell us what he wants. Right. But if high power is something like 35 foot-pounds, you could have a low power, maybe a 28 or something like that. So you can, and obviously the lower the power, the more shots you get.
Right.
So if you're, playing in the garden, you'd probably put it on low power. If you're out hunting and you've got to do some long range, you put it on high power and use a bit more air.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty good sized air tank too.
It's 300 cc of air. It's quite large. That's a great advantage of this format. We gain really 8 inches of backward movement, where normally the butt would be.
Right.
We've now got action, and where the action would be, we've now got air cylinder. So we're able to put a fair size air tube on there, and of course we're also bringing the barrel back as well, so we can use that extra reach for extension to put in a pretty effective silencing system. We think this is the quietest Daystate of all time.
Really?
And a fully baffled system, they're making it super quiet. And just in case it's not quiet enough, we've still put on our 1/2-inch UNF adapter on the end, so you could put on a second moderator or compensator, whatever you want to. That's right. But it's all built in. It should be quiet enough.
Okay, now, if I'm not mistaken, too, the display will tell you when you have low batteries and magazine
Yes.
is empty. And
That's right. Anybody familiar with the Mark IV or the Airwolf will know that there are a lot of settings that are not switched on. And what we found, really, by experience with 11 years of making those type of rifles, is that most of the guns that come back are also not switched on. We felt that was a bit wasteful. So what we did was we had a good look at what was in there, and we decided to refine it. So we've taken out what we felt was unnecessary. What we felt was necessary and desirable, we've put on as automatic. So, for instance, we're talking about the map. A map of a gun might be between 232 bar and actually be switching itself off at about 130 bar as it's getting low. Well, the gun knows at 10 bar below that to give you a warning to fill the gun up. So it does that. So whichever power setting you're on, it will correct the low pressure warning to compensate for it. And the same with the batteries. It's monitoring the batteries the whole time. When the batteries get to a certain level, it will come in and give you a low battery warning. Probably give you 1,000 shots to go, but you know, at least you've got a heads-up display. Talking about the batteries, we decided to go for disposable batteries this time, really to make it easier for the user. We're using AA batteries and 6 of them. Gives us a much higher milliamp capacity, still 9 volts, but much higher milliamp. And of course, 6 AA batteries, what does that cost? So you can pick those up on the fly if you want. And it's in a battery holder, so you could actually purchase separate battery holders if you wanted to. But we think that the gun will fire several thousand shots between battery charges.
Well, one feature I like about this, there's a lot of features I like actually, but I can't double load, is that right?
That's right, that's all built in. Yeah, and there's a magazine counter built in as well. So it'll fire 10 shots, counting down on the side of the rifle, and when the magazine's empty, the rifle will stop firing. Then open the bolt, change the magazine, and it automatically resets itself to carry on. So you don't have to resync it or anything like that.
Okay, great. And the trigger unit, as I understand, we're familiar with that already, is that right?
That's right. It's a Mark IV unit, really, but revised into a new set of electronics. With bullpups, the real issue is, you know, with mechanical linkages, it's an awful lot of inertia. And I can remember on the SA-80, during the trials development, a Marine dropped an SA-80 muzzle down out of a helicopter, and it landed something like 14 feet and fired, and they were totally outraged at this gun went off. And they redesigned the trigger mechanism, but it's very difficult. There's a huge amount of inertia going on with all those linkages and components, and it generally ruins the trigger. And that's on a military weapon. When you're dealing with a civilian weapon where you want ounces of trigger pull and highly adjustable and sensitivity, it's very hard to do on a bullpup. So an electronics system just takes all that away, and you don't have to have complicated rods and cantilever wires. You just simply extend the wire 8 inches and move the trigger forward, and that's what we've done. Although it's a completely new unit for this rifle, so there's no compromise or, you know, adaptation. It's a new unit for this. But we have an 8-ounce fully adjustable trigger, which is completely safe. No sears to trip or wear. It's an electronic switch.
That's great. Now, this one is in 177.
Yes.
What are the plans as far as different calibers?
Well, for the US, 22 will be the most popular caliber, and then we will look to the future and see if we're going to do a 25 caliber or more. But the gun has been built with a huge amount of options and extendability, and we're starting the rifle off with a limited edition of 200, and then a month later we start on production of the main batch. I understand that the US importer, Airguns Arizona, has ordered all of the main batch for the first consignment, so the UK may have to wait a month beyond that. That's right.
Now, the rail on this, is this a standard rail on the top and on the bottom?
That's right. I think you call it a 3/8 rail with 1112 to us, 1112 millimeter, and a Picatinny on the fore end for your bipod or sling swivel set that goes on the front.
Okay, what's the timing on this that you projected?
Well, the parts are in production now. All the trials and development are finished. We're still, as software engineers, still fiddling around with the software, so they're doing a few little tweaks to the program, which is very easy to do. We can do that pretty much as we go along. We're getting some feedback from the show, what people would like to see, and we're considering that. But the engineering, the mechanics is all done. So we start production really in February, and we hope to get the first ones really out in mid-March. That's the plan. If there's any hiccups, it'll delay it a week or two. But so far, it's been pretty good.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. This is a pretty exciting new bullpup. This year seems to be bullpups and big bores, and this is very impressive. All of the design that went into this. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes and running us through. Thank you, Tony.
Daystate and Brocock are now under common ownership, so they both exhibited at the same booth. I'm not too familiar with Brocock, but they have some nice-looking pre-charged rifles that would be suitable for younger shooters, or for small game hunting where length and weight are important. And Airguns of Arizona introduced their new MTC line of scopes.